Winner turns out to be Philadelphia. Metallica will perform in the parking lot of that city's Corestates Arena next Tuesday to herald the November 18th release of the group's new album, Reload. One other concert note, Smashing Pumpkins took a break from working on its next album in Los Angeles to fly home to Chicago to be the opening act on Monday night for a concert by Jane's Addiction. As seen in the online magazine Addicted to Noise, leader Billy Corgan took the stage wearing a red wig, dress, and lipstick, and it wasn't even Halloween. Meanwhile, in France, where Oasis had been scheduled to play 3 concerts, one a benefit show in Paris on Tuesday in memory of Britain's late Princess Diana, yet another nationwide strike by French truckers has forced the band to cancel all of those performances.
In the parking lot of the Corestates Arena in Philadelphia. The show will mark the November 18th release of Metallica's Reload album. And after Boston and Chicago didn't work out as host cities, the band opened a toll-free phone line and a website 10 days ago to get fan suggestions on other potential cities for their free show. In one parking lot, this is a view from Chopper 10's Gyrocam. This is where Metallica will rock the city of brotherly love. News 10's Paul Jackson is in the parking lot with details on the concert, and some of the neighbors aren't happy about this, huh, Paul?
Not at all. You know, some people may think of this as precious metal, others call it heavy metal. People that live around here just say it's going to be loud. In fact, they're calling it the Million Decibel March. Come Tuesday, Metallica will park its act right here.
Yo, dude, I just heard some rumor about this free Metallica show. Is that true?
Well, it's beyond rumor, sir.
Metallica is coming to Philadelphia. If you're a fan of the heavy metal group, you have this radio station to thank. If you're not, you have this radio station to blame. WYSP convinced thousands of listeners to participate in a nationwide vote to bring the rockers to Philadelphia for a free outdoor concert at the Corestates parking lot. The city initially balked at the idea, but now has apparently surrendered to the music.
If it's controlled, it's okay, and I think the Corestates people are very good at running their own programs and controlling them.
Concert promoters predict 40,000 could take advantage of this free concert, which is set for Tuesday.
Was it 64,000 for an Eagles game? We probably will do under that. You know, so, I mean, it's not going to be any different for the neighborhood. The neighborhood's probably used to it. They're just not used to it on a Tuesday.
I think they ought to stay out of here.
The Veterans Stadium Civic Association, for one, says it opposes any open-air concert.
But
it's okay.
As long as they don't bother us, like I said, we won't bother them.
Chris Grosso doesn't plan on bothering anyone. He just wants to rock.
They're really jammed. I'm really excited about going. I can't wait to go.
Chauncey Smith is a card-carrying member of the Metallica fan club. He is stoked.
I'm ready to rock and roll, man.
And the mayor? You a Metallica fan?
No, but my son is.
But barring any 11th hour hitches, the show will go on Tuesday. It begins at 3 p.m. We're live in South Philadelphia. Paul Jackson, News 10.
Stoked, huh?
Concert. The heavy metal band Metallica announced it was looking for a host after several cities rejected the idea of a free concert. So the band gave out a free phone number on our sister radio station, WYSP. And as DJ John DeBella explains, thanks to the fans, the concert is coming here.
It's the fans that made it happen. I mean, Metallica fans got on the phones. This is their concert. They're the ones who made it happen. YSP is happy to announce it and, you know, put out all of the information.
The concert is set for next Tuesday at 3 in the afternoon. It will be in the parking lot of the Corestates Center.
WYSP scores again.
Yes, and that is News 3 at 6.
Join us at 11 right after Chicago Hope. Have a great night.
Tuesday afternoon. About 40,000 fans are expected at the Corestates complex parking lot, which is not far from some residential neighborhoods. The councilmen have said that concert promoters have not yet addressed sanitation and security concerns. The mayor is planning to meet with the council to discuss the issue. That is the news for now. More news at 10 to the hour every hour right here on MTV.
Rock and roll band in the world. Of a live report on News 10 at 6.
Live report.
And just how
city workers do not have to shut down. Or not at all. Let's go live to the sports complex and Action News reporter David Henry. David?
Well, Jim, they were expecting about 40,000 heavy metal fans to show up here at the Corestates parking lot for that free concert. But now, as you said, Corestates has agreed to move the show indoors to the Spectrum now. That's if Metallica agrees, and they haven't said whether or not they'll go along with that yet. Now, the move is a great deal for the area residents who are upset about all the noise, but fans are still wondering what's the big deal. After all, it's only rock and roll. Well, it's not quite only rock and roll, it's window rattling loud. Metallica bills itself as the world's loudest band. Are they really that loud?
Yeah, they're pretty loud.
And that's why neighbors raised a racket of their own. They also complained of the huge crowd expected around rush hour, and to top it off, a Flyers game is scheduled for 7:30 that night.
I viewed it as certainly not living up to the agreement by having this outdoor facility and not notifying anybody.
The Corestates complex is in City Councilwoman Anna Verna's district. This morning, she met with Corestates officials, and they agreed to move the concert indoors. If they hadn't, she and other council members were threatening to take them to court for an emergency injunction. The move indoors could backfire. 40,000 fans were expected outdoors, and the Spectrum holds only 18,000.
It may cause more of a problem, especially in the Spectrum. You have all those seats, and when you have all those people coming in there fighting over who's going to get there first, you know, if you keep it open, that may solve a crowd control problem.
Well, they are hoping to keep the headbangers from banging heads down here. The way the plan stands now is that they will sell tickets through an area ticket agency that hasn't been named yet, and when they're gone, they are gone. Nobody gets in without a ticket. I'm David Henry, reporting live from the Corestates Center in South Philadelphia. Jim?
All right, David. Members at the wrong time, the 3 officers who confronted him.
Accused child killer group Metallica. Skycam 3 is live tonight over the Corestates complex, where the concert was originally scheduled to take place in a parking lot. After an outcry, the show has been moved to inside the Spectrum, but there may still be a last-minute snag. News 3's Marge Palla, there she is live on the ground now with the very latest. Marge?
Well, this wind so far, I'm on the ground. You don't know. Moving this concert indoors to the Spectrum answers a lot of the community's complaints about traffic and noise down here. But so far, the band, Metallica, still hasn't signed off on the compromise worked out today at City Hall. One concern, the Spectrum holds only about half the 40,000 fans who are expected to show up for a free concert. The prospect of a free outdoor concert by Metallica sent shockwaves through the South Philadelphia neighborhoods surrounding the Corestates Center and drew the anger of city council members who threatened to go to court to stop the band.
They are the loudest group in the world.
That's one reason City Council Majority Leader Anna Verna asked for a meeting with Corestates Center Chief Peter Luca. After a 90-minute closed-door session, the compromise emerged. Metallica can perform, but only inside the Spectrum, and instead of first-come, first-serve, free passes will be available at local ticket agencies. An arrangement officials hope will keep fans from camping out in the neighborhood to get good seats.
People down there don't want that, and I don't want to see that happen.
Metallica fans like WYSP intern Mark Harper don't understand all the fuss.
To be honest with you, I don't really see any difference in an Eagles game.
Fans have been calling WYSP radio throughout the day, some complaining about being characterized as crazed groupies.
They pose no threat. They're people just like me, you. They're people that wear suits and like this music.
But for folks who live in the shadow of the sports and entertainment complex, Tuesday's outdoor concert would have capped a 2-day marathon.
It's an Eagles game Monday night. There's another concert Monday night. And the Flyers game is on Tuesday evening. Can you imagine how chaotic it would be down there?
But she's going to Metallica, right?
Oh, with bells on, hon.
Somehow, I don't think you're going to be seeing Councilwoman Verna headbanging in the mosh pits, but hey, I could be wrong. Still no word at this point from Metallica. If there is a development, we will have it for you tonight on News 3 at 11 or throughout the evening on our sister station, WYSP. Reporting live from the Spectrum, I'm Marge Palla, and we'll go back to you in the studio.
Okay, Marge.
Paul Jackson, News 10.
That's 6.
Sigourney Weaver and Winona.
It wants to headbang next week in South Philadelphia after City Council and community concerns were expressed. Arena Stadium officials today said the Spectrum's the place to be, not the parking lot. Byron Scott is standing by live outside the Corestates Spectrum with a story. Byron?
Steve, a wise man once said the show must go on, and it looks like it is going to go on, but not at the Corestates Center over here, but behind me at the Corestates Spectrum, and a lot of folks are just plain happy about that. Tuesday's scheduled free Metallica concert will look much like this one because it will be indoors. City leaders poo-pooed the idea of an outdoor venue since the band announced it was coming to Philadelphia earlier this week. But folks who live near the stadium were dead against it.
I think they should stay away.
Why?
Too much garbage in the neighborhood. They draw too much garbage in the neighborhood.
Garbage meaning?
Garbage is trash. People.
I don't think it's good to have it outside. I think there's a lot of things that can happen when it's outside.
Such as?
I'm sure people can walk up into the crowds and do crime, pickpocketing. I'm sure drug abuse will go on.
Corestates officials met with residents this morning, and when it was all said and done, officials agreed to move it to the Spectrum and to move the concert inside.
As long as we get the police protection and they don't park in our neighborhood, I foresee no problem.
We've seen this in the past with the people who come through the neighborhood and destroy the neighborhood, and we really don't want that here.
Well, flat-out residents are afraid as many as 40,000 fans were expected here, and folks just didn't want that. Now, it looks like the show is set for Tuesday, 3 p.m. Once again, a free concert, Metallica, at the Corestates Spectrum, if Metallica accepts. So far, we haven't had word, but right now, it looks like it's going to happen, we think, perhaps Tuesday, 3 p.m. That's the latest live in South Philadelphia. I'm Byron Scott. Steve.
Thank you, Byron. The drama continues. Well, a dramatic car chase in Houston.
Original plan to perform at the Corestates Center parking lot, and they are considering legal action. So the plot thickens.
Wow, stay tuned.
Coming up.
Thought the fight was settled, but late tonight the battle is back on. Touted as the loudest rock band in the world, Metallica was scheduled to perform an outdoor concert this coming Tuesday afternoon in front of 40,000 devoted fans in the parking lot of the Corestates complex. But row house residents of the South Philadelphia neighborhood cried foul. They don't want the noise, they don't want the huge crowd and everything that comes with it. After a meeting today between 3 members of City Council and officials from the Corestates complex, there appeared to be a solution. The group could play inside the Spectrum, but no outdoor concert. But the quiet of the Spectrum parking lot tonight belies the heat of the possible battle that lies ahead. Tonight, Metallica said, absolutely not. It has to perform here, outside. And the group has gone to court to force the Corestates people to live up to an oral contract. Metallica says 80 radio stations from around the country are planning to broadcast live from the event. The group says turning away thousands of fans who can't fit into the Spectrum will do harm to the group, harm to the fans, and jeopardize everybody's safety. The group says it will pay for extra security measures for the outdoor concert. So how will this battle be resolved? Well, council member Anna Verna told us she has to wait and see what happens in court. Corestates officials say it's too early for them to comment. Translation, the battle lines are being drawn, and 40,000 rock fans are planning to show up.
As planned. The rock band's decision flies in the face of city and neighborhood efforts to move the high-decibel show inside. The concert is slated for Tuesday at the Corestates Center parking lot. Nearby residents have complained about the site. Spectators offered to hold the show inside the Corestates Spectrum. Tonight, attorneys for Metallica have filed court papers to stop any attempt to move the show.
Tonight, they say they are going to court over their planned outdoor concert in Philadelphia next week. Now, the free concert was originally scheduled to take place in the parking lot of the Corestates Center on Tuesday, as seen from Skycam 3. But that plan angered residents who live next door to the complex and upset City Council Majority Leader Anna Verna and others who threatened court action to stop the event. After meeting with Corestates officials, a decision was made to move the concert indoors to the Spectrum.
They are the loudest group in the world. In the world. People down there don't want that, and I don't want to see that happen.
And won the battle to perform outside of the Corestates Center parking lot. News 3's Dick Standish has more on Tuesday's controversial free concert.
The band members have been successful for more than a decade. With a new album coming out, they need a stunt to boost sales. They chose a free concert in the parking lot of the Corestates complex.
They just thought that would be unique. I mean, it's not the space shuttle, but in the rock and roll genre, it's unique. It doesn't happen all the time.
Corestates executive Peter Luco arrived at federal court to testify they never had insurance arranged, they never had security planned, they never had a deal. He said the Flyers played Tuesday night with fans arriving at 6. It'll be difficult to clear 30, 40,000 or more rock fans out of the way. Young demonstrators criticized the ban as pro-drugs and pro-violence.
I'm here today to protest against Metallica because we want God's music and we don't want death music.
But the Metallica lawyers carried the day.
We won.
and the concert is going to go on as scheduled.
Obviously, we're very disappointed. We sat there, and before our very eyes, we saw a judge write a contract. We had no contract, and it's really put us in a very difficult position. At the present time, there's an open invitation for all of America to come down to South Philly to watch a concert, and that's not right, and it's not fair.
You asked for it, Philadelphia. You got it.
The news was cheered by the rockers at radio station WYSP.
We're having a major announcement tomorrow at noon telling you where you can get your free tickets. And they're free. You don't have to pay anything.
South Philadelphians on City Council are not amused.
I certainly believe that it would be noise pollution, and that's something that they could be fined for. I think that this is absolutely despicable, that they would be having a concert the size of this and a Flyers game on the same evening.
Next Tuesday afternoon. About 40,000 fans are expected at the Corestates complex parking lot, which is not far from some residential neighborhoods. The councilmen have said that the promoters have not yet addressed sanitation and security concerns. The mayor is planning to meet with the council to discuss the issue. That is the news for now. More news at 10 to the hour every hour right here on MTV.
The number
concert in the parking lot of the Corestates Center. Thousands of tickets were handed out, which could make it much more difficult for opponents who are trying to stop the show. Karen Thomas joins us now live from the Corestates Center with the latest. Karen?
Well, Rich, it's true. A lot of Metallica fans who planned on being here Tuesday for the free concert may be surprised to know that tickets were handed out earlier today, and tonight they're all gone. Now, there was speculation on just how many people would turn out for the free concert, and tonight we know that final count, 30,000 fans. The message from Corestates is if you don't have a ticket, you're not coming in. On Tuesday, the concert stage will be set up in the parking lot behind the Corestates Center. 30,000 people with tickets will enter through the front gate. Parking will be available around the Spectrum.
The grounds are secluded, so you cannot see this concert through fences or any of that. So you really wouldn't be able to see anything if you did come down. And again, you will not be allowed in this part of South Philadelphia without a ticket.
That warning hit a sour note with Metallica fans who heard on the radio they could pick up tickets at Ticketmaster outlets.
Come down, there's plenty of tickets. Metallica, sold out, you're losers.
All the tickets were issued in less than 2 hours.
Yeah, I got the tickets, yeah!
Fans who missed out are asking a lot of questions.
I want to know why I came all the way here for nothing. You know, if it's a free concert, are we still going to be able to go in and see them at the Corestates? Are they going to let us in?
The answer from Luco is no. Some fans say that's unfair.
There shouldn't have been any regulations to that, you know? It's a free concert. You cannot give out tickets to a free concert and limit it.
But the Corestates parking lot capacity is 35,000 people. It would have been too dangerous to allow an unlimited number of fans into the event. The entire arena is fenced in, but still some nearby residents worry about fans trashing the neighborhood.
Excuse me for saying this. They urinate on our property, and there's nothing but beer bottles and much litter throughout the entire area.
One of many concerns that prompted Corestates officials to demand an indoor concert was a measure that was turned down by the band and a federal judge. And Peter Luco with Corestates says it's worth stressing that if you do not have a ticket and you show up for the free concert on Tuesday afternoon, you will not be allowed in. Also, lawyers for Corestates do intend to file an appeal tomorrow morning in a last-ditch effort to get the decision overturned and bring this concert indoors. But even Luco admits as time is running out, the chances of that look very slim. Reporting live from South Philadelphia, I'm Karen Thomas. Back to you.
Concert controversy. Opponents of the outdoor Metallica concert have been meeting tonight and have come up with more options to try to stop Tuesday's planned heavy metal concert. Appeal yesterday's ruling by a federal judge and enforce zoning laws. Matt O'Donnell is live outside the Corestates Center with tonight's edition of the Battle of the Band. Matt?
Rob, you can call it an 11th hour attempt to try and prevent Metallica from playing out here in the parking lot of the Corestates Center. Is it going to work? Tomorrow may bring us the answer. South Philadelphia State Senator Vince Fumo outside his office tonight. In his hands, a copy of the appeal that Corestates Center officials will file tomorrow in the 3rd District Court of Appeals.
We met to review the appeal that the Corestates is filing in the 3rd District Court.
Senator Fumo and 3 Philadelphia City Council people met tonight at his office to figure out how to prevent Metallica from playing in the Corestates Center parking lot. First, they will wait to see if a judge's ruling that Corestates Center officials could not move the concert into the Spectrum can be overturned. If the appeal doesn't work, they move to Plan B and C, both of which they aren't saying much about.
We're just going to have to wait and see how we come out on the appeal, and then we'll have to take it from there.
One of those fallback plans could involve the issue of zoning. Fumo says state zoning law prohibits the use of the Corestates Center parking lot for concerts like the one planned for Tuesday.
We don't care what these people do, we just care where they do it. And we think it's inappropriate and most probably illegal to do it in the parking lot. That's our only concern.
Yet another issue. What will happen to the 30,000 some fans if the concert is completely called off? Will a riot ensue? Those at Fumo's meeting say they'll cross that bridge when they come to it.
That certainly can be a very big problem, and that's what we have to. That's why we're waiting to see exactly what the court does.
Now, 30,000 free tickets were given out today in less than 2 hours, so technically the Metallica concert for Tuesday afternoon is sold out. The big question is this thing going to still happen? Well, at this point, yes, it is, but a federal appeals judge ruling in the favor of the Corestates Center tomorrow could change that completely. I'm Matt O'Donnell, live in the action camp in South Philadelphia.
All right, Matt.
Free outdoor concert on Tuesday night, but opponents of the event say the battle's not over yet.
Never, never land.
Officials at the Corestates Sports Complex say they will appeal a federal judge's ruling allowing the concert. Corestates says the free concert scheduled for the parking lot presents public safety issues. The judge says the rock group must make sure there is ample security for the event. Tickets for the concert were handed out today and were gone within 2 hours.
The free tickets for the Metallica concert went fast today, right after the announcement was made on our sister station, 94 WYSP, at noon today. The lines began forming outside of Tower Records on South Street. That's just one of the locations where fans could pick up tickets to this 60-minute show. It will be performed in the parking lot of the Corestates Center Tuesday at 3 p.m. Yesterday, a judge upheld a verbal agreement between Corestates officials and the band to have the show outdoors.
Hi,
neighbors here thought they were going to get unruly crowds and trash throughout their neighborhood, but so far, believe it or not, all they've gotten is peace and quiet. It was initially billed as Metalheads versus the elderly homeowners near Veterans Stadium, and apparently both sides won. While Margie D'Amoroso swept away fall leaves from her front porch, Metalheads walked politely through the neighborhood. Perhaps out of respect, perhaps because police were posted at virtually every corner. Little Gianna played outside before Metallica began to jam. When the concert was underway, inside, the multi-million decibel march could not be heard. And outside, it was simply the sound of a leaf blower.
It took a noisy wheel to get some oil.
Joseph Maloney fought against this outdoor concert from the start, going to city council and district court. This afternoon, he's a happy man.
I'm very pleased what the city council did for us down here. I mean, they gave us enough police protection down here. They gave us enough, all kind of protection. I should say undercover and regular police and bicycle police and all kind of helicopters are down here. You got everything down here today. I think if we have this every time we have a concert down here, we wouldn't have a problem.
So far, neighbors are smiling. Of course, that crowd has got to make its way back through the neighborhood. But at this point, the loudest noise we have heard are the sound of police choppers and, of course, media helicopters. And, of course, the occasional Metallica fan that screams, Metallica rules. We're live in South Philadelphia. Paul Jackson, News 10. Back to you.
All right, Kevin, Metallica started this concert on time. They are not ending it on time. They had said they were going to be off the stage at 4 o'clock so they could start cleaning up the area and getting ready for the Flyers game tonight. That's not happening. As you can see, they are still on the stage right now, and they're still playing, and they show no signs of ending. One of the big problems has been throughout the concert, actually the only problem, has been the crowd surfing that Sheila was talking about. Some people call it body surfing. Every once in a while, there you go, you see somebody being lifted above the crowd and then pushed like a conveyor belt to the stage. What's happening is people are falling on their heads, although one Philadelphia police officer said Many of the people in the condition they're in right now don't feel that. However, some people have had asthma or have had concussions or have had problems because of that and have had to be carried out. So there's been more medical problems than there has been problems because of crimes or people getting raucous or carried away with what's going on out here. As Paul said, this is going to be ending any second. All of these people, and the crowd, by the way, has not been 30,000. We're guessing about 10,000. We'll get official counts later on. But all of these people still are going to be leaving pretty soon and on the highway. So let's get a check on traffic right now. The prelude to the onslaught from Mark Davies. Mark?
Well, Larry, it's been pretty good, all things considered, the major roads. We can take a live look at the Corestates Center from Center City right now. Again, the only closure is 11th Street, shut down between Patterson
Mark, Metallica acted like they were going to end a couple of times. The music has stopped again. Who knows if they're going to end now, Renee? They were supposed to stop at 4 o'clock. Overall, though, it's been pretty nice out here. Chicago turned down this concert. New York turned down this concert. Philadelphia took it and should be proud. They've done a really nice job of having a good time in an orderly fashion. And Renee, I know you're a big fan of Metallica. I'll get you a T-shirt. Live look now from the gyro cam over South Philly. More live coverage coming up. There you go, the massive crowd at the free Metallica concert at the Corestates Center in South Philadelphia. The band now has left the stage. Will there be an encore? We'll find out in just one moment. We're looking at the vans down here backstage, and it doesn't appear at this point like the band is going to leave the stage. There may be an encore performance. This concert going much longer than it was supposed to go. It was supposed to end at 4 o'clock. We're well past that time. I'll tell you what, we're going to go to John Belaris. And John, the weather has been beautiful. I know a lot of people in South Philly were hoping it would be cold or it would rain to keep down the crowds, but it's been just beautiful, and there's been no problem. So nice job, John.
Okay, Larry. Look, Larry, hanging out at any mosh pits. You know?
Wasn't muddy enough for a good mosh pit. They were body surfing instead, John. And the encore is going to begin. This concert will never end, much to the elation of the crowd here. There will be an encore of Metallica. We'll be back with that in a moment. And coming up, of course, for the concert, and we'll find out just how loud these guys really are and what it can do to your kids' Metallica still rocking on stage, about a half hour past when they were supposed to finish. I'll tell you what, though, a lot of people in the crowd are finished. Look at this exodus already. It started when they thought Metallica was playing their last song about 10 or 15 minutes ago. It turns out that wasn't the last song. It is going to be a mess here because the Flyers concert look where my mind is. The Flyers game starts at 5:30, actually about 7, but at 5:30 they have promised to get this all cleared out. My mind is going to mush because it's been so loud here and so constantly loud. I have a decibel meter. We're going to show you just how loud in a second. First, let's find out how some of these people held up. How was the concert?
Oh, it was great, man. It was fast. Couldn't have asked much more.
Did you take off from school to get here?
Of course.
Of course. What am I thinking? Did you enjoy it?
Definitely.
Was it loud for you?
Yeah.
Can you hear right now? And you're saying no, it wasn't loud.
No, it's never loud enough.
And you brought your little girl here. Was it too
It's
loud?
my niece, Nicole. Say hi. Say Metallica. Say we want Metallica to come play in Brooklyn. Yeah!
What? You want your little girl to be able to say Metallica rules. That's. Oh, what was that? I knew it wasn't going to get over without something being thrown on me at one point. Let me get a decibel meter reading right now. And we're pretty far back. Take a look at this. 109, 110, 111. There you go. About 110 decibel reading. Now, what does that mean? We'll compare that to this chart. A jackhammer up close, about 100 decibels. A rock concert like this one, if you're right out in front by the speakers, about 120 decibels. And that puts listeners, by the way, in immediate danger if they are at 120 decibels. And that can cause permanent hearing damage. Compare that to standing next to a jet plane at about 140 decibels. You begin to feel actual pain, hearing loss probable. And at the top of the scale, someplace you probably don't want to find yourself, on a rocket launch pad, 180 decibels. Say goodbye to your hearing forever at that point. Metallica again has stopped playing. Is that the end of the concert? Who knows? Every time we think it's over, it keeps going We know that this area has to be cleaned up, as I was saying, but not very well before, by 5:30. This has to be cleaned up by 5:30 so that people can start parking for the Flyers game. Is that going to happen? Who knows? It might be a real mess. We know the exodus has started, but here also with me is a psychologist, Linda Welsh, who deals with children a lot. And what I was wondering is, now you take a look at this crowd. You see the people that were body surfing, crowd surfing. You hear the loud noise, people taking off from school to get here. I guess at one stage in our lives we've all gone through this. Why?
Well, I think it's a pretty healthy way to rebel, to show some independence, to make a statement. If this is the worst it's going to get, then I think it's good. It's an artistic expression for the performers, and the kids identify with that.
The average age here must be 15 or 16, as we were commenting on before. So a lot of kids are taking off from school and putting themselves in what could be a dangerous situation. If you're a parent, how can you be sure that your child is safe?
I think you rehearse possibilities with them. They may not appear to be paying attention, but the kids need to know what to do in a bad situation, how to avoid trouble, how to spot it, and how to get help when they need it. They know not to eat food or drink things that they're not aware of, to watch where they walk. And when they spot trouble happening, how to get away from it. A parent can actually rehearse that with a child before they come to a concert like
a kid will listen to you?
They'll pretend not to, but I think they all need to know that they can get help if they need to and rely on their own resources.
Well, let's check out this. Thank you very much, psychologist Linda Welsh, for being with us and waiting this long. Let's find out what's going on. Oh, we're told that Metallica now is leaving the stage. Let's take a shot at the stage and see if we can get them coming off. We're now taking a look at the gyrocam chopper shot. The band is not on the stage. There goes the van. One of the vans is pulling out. We'll see, they're right here. We'll see, yes, the band members are inside. So that is the end of the Metallica concert. Finally, let's get an official time on this. What does that say? Oh, I can't make it up. 4:29, the official end to the Metallica concert, running 29 minutes past where it was supposed to go. And there goes the van. And take a quick look live over here. There is the exodus of people all going to their cars right now to get in and drive home, and that could cause a traffic mess, couldn't it, Mark Davies?
Could, and I'm sure it will, all things considered. This afternoon's rush hour is going to have a few extra thousand folks in it, especially around South Philadelphia.
Mark, thank you very much. The roads are packed with people walking. The Corestates Center parking lot in back of me is still packed. They have to get this cleared for the Flyers game. It is going to be a real mess, Renee. We'll stay out here and update you on the progress.
All right, Larry, you're a tall guy. Don't let any of those folks out there body surf you, okay?
I'm not going near that area right there. I'm staying.
Smart man.
You can see, look, I have event staff people protecting me.
Okay.
Cleared this parking lot. The police have called in the cavalry. You can see them pushing the fans out onto the street. This thing very well might be cleared up by 5:30 as they had promised. And also, John Balero's promised good weather for today, and he delivered. We'll have his forecast for the rest of the week coming up. You're watching. Finally, it's quiet out here, John. You know what's amazing? It was beautiful weather for the concert.
News program with Scott Palmer, Dave Roberts, Lisa Thomas-Laurie, and Mark Howard.
Good evening. In the news, an apparent fight ends with two people crashing through a relatively peaceful gathering of thousands of heavy metal rock fans and a concert by the self-proclaimed loudest band in the world. Chopper 6 and the Gyrocam are now live high above the Corestates parking lot where this broke up about 40 minutes ago. And as you can see, there's still some cars there, but traffic is leaving the parking lot. Now, as the Gyrocam pans back, zooms back, you will see I-95, the highway onto which much of this traffic is going. I-95 and, of course, the Schuylkill Expressway. There is I-95 right now. And take a look as we zoom further in, you will see that police are stopping traffic on I-95 so that the people leaving the Corestates can get onto the highway. So they're sort of blocking it back and forth, letting people onto the highway, letting the traffic move on I-95. In short, it's a traffic mess. Now, David Murphy was down there all day for all of this. David, can you still hear?
Well, they call them the loudest rock band in the world, Mark. And after spending all day here, despite the fact that I had earplugs in my ears the whole time, cotton balls actually, I'd have to say that it's hard to disagree with that. Thousands came and they wound up seeing a lively, yet pretty typical heavy metal show. With heavy-duty speakers piled dozens of feet above the huge stage here, Metallica, in all its high-volume glory, wailed away to thousands of fans jamming the parking lot in front of the Corestates Center. Complaints and legal challenges from some local residents and politicians may have marked the days leading up to this free concert, but there were no complaints here.
I came here to have fun, and that's what I'm going to do.
Like this?
Yeah, it's awesome!
You got a good seat, too.
Yeah, you!
The day started early for fans who lined up outside the concert site along 11th Street. Some of them got here before dawn. The gates were supposed to open at 1, and only ticket holders were to be allowed in. But a few minutes before noon, several hundred fans appeared to rush the gates without anyone checking for tickets. There was some pushing and shoving at first, then order was restored and the crowd waited patiently for the 3 p.m. show. The concert itself was marked by the type of things heavy metal veterans say are typical. Moshing, where people run into each other on the concert floor, and body surfing, where people are passed across the top of the crowd. Eventually, they're dropped, but most don't seem to mind. Like,
thrown out of the pit!
Right over!
On my head!
There was also the seemingly mandatory personal show of appreciation from several female audience members. The place was packed, the crowd was energetic, but mostly good-natured, and the music was predictably loud. Back live in South Philadelphia right now. Boy, that was loud. They're tearing down the big stage, and the crowds are virtually all but gone from the immediate area here. Coming up at 6 o'clock, we'll hear directly from band members as to how they felt about the controversy surrounding this concert. We'll also have a scientific look at just how loud it was. David Murphy live with the Action Cam in South Philadelphia.
Thank you, David. Well, homeowners said the concert would be intolerable. Suzanne LaFranchi's been checking out their side of the story. Suzanne, how was it?
Well, Mark, many here who have the sports complex as a neighbor freely admit that they were, well, rather pleasantly surprised that one of rock's loudest and certainly most notorious bands was, well, rather mild-mannered this afternoon. I'm standing about 1.5 blocks north of the Vet and half a block east of Broad Street in the 3100 block of South Juniata Street. And right now at this hour, we're getting a trickle of concert-goers as they head home. It was music to 83-year-old Lulu Casey's ears. Silence at 3 o'clock.
I don't hear it. Do you hear it?
Mm-mm. Not one heavy metal note could be heard inside of his South Philadelphia home.
I'm surprised. There was no traffic. There was no people. I didn't see anything, and I don't hear anything. I got to tell it like it is, right? So, it's fine.
Those who live in the shadow of the Vet were amazed that rock's loudest band was so quiet.
Nothing. Absolutely nothing. I'm shocked, you know. I really expected the house to rattle and hear a lot of noise. I haven't heard a thing.
To cut down on noise, city officials required Metallica to play facing south, away from the immediate neighborhood.
Well, I'm generally happy that the city imposed and put into place this plan with the extra police coverage and closing off the streets and the configuration of the stage pointing south across 95 as opposed to north across the neighborhoods.
300 city police officers were assigned to the immediate neighborhood for security and to control traffic. We saw a handful of fans walking through the neighborhood. Again, there didn't seem to be a problem. Neighbors say hovering helicopters and a blimp was all the noise they could hear.
Helicopters. I hear them every day. Going over the bridge, checking traffic. Don't hear a thing. I want to hear it. I want to see what it's all about.
Some of them were very curious, and I don't know if the folks here are ready to invite Metallica back for an encore, but they say they usually get much more noise from an Eagles game. For now, I'm Suzanne LaFranchi reporting live in the Action Cam from South Philadelphia. Back to you.
Thank you. I think it would help that it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon, you know. 3 to 4, and then they're out of here.
Obviously, more like 4 to 5 o'clock, and they're out of here and walking through the neighborhood fairly quietly.
Action News, Delaware Valley's leading news program, with Gary Papa, Dave Roberts, and Jim Gardner.
This is the way it looked from Chopper 6. About 30,000 fans gathering to hear the heavy metal rock band Metallica in the parking lot on the east side of the Corestates Center. This was the concert that the neighborhood tried to quash in court, but the show went on today in South Philadelphia. It is Tuesday night, and the big story on Action News tonight is a Metal Mania matinee, and from all accounts it went off without a hitch. And this is the reason why thousands of so-called metalheads came to the Corestates complex this afternoon. They tout themselves as the loudest rock band in the world, and their fans loved every decibel of the music this afternoon. Action News reporter David Murphy is live from the Corestates parking lot. David, as far as we could tell, no major problems at the site of the concert today.
Yeah, that's right, Jim. 40,000 showed up. We just got the crowd estimate moments ago. It was a big concert. It was extremely loud, as you've mentioned. How loud? Listen up. Metallica bills itself as the loudest rock band in the world, which is not surprising, having just been through today's concert. It's so loud, in fact, that when you talk to people in the crowd, it's hard to tell whether they can hear you. Your reaction to this free concert? In fact, at one point, I resorted to a rather unconventional method of interviewing.
Yes, yes, what?
The sound was deafening, even when you were standing off to the side of the stage with its stacks of high-powered speakers. How deafening? We came armed with a sound level meter. The reading we got was around 110 decibels. That's about 20 higher than what the government recommends over an 8-hour day. Readings were even louder when people started screaming near us. Meanwhile, there was still talk of the controversy leading up to this concert, namely the efforts to have it canceled. Before the show, band members weighed in on that, with drummer Lars Ulrich annoyed that heavy metal fans get such an automatic bad rap.
That would be the same as saying, you know, give me an, you know, all ex-football players are potential wife killers, or do you know what I mean? It's these stereotypes.
In the end, the show went on. Fans say it was good. Common sense told you it was loud. No major problems reported here, Jim, perhaps because they had 300 police officers on hand to try and keep things in tow. That's twice as many as worked last night's Eagles game, but it may also have been simply because trouble wasn't in the cards here today. David Murphy live at the Action Cam, South Philadelphia.
Thank you, David. Plans call for authorities to open the gates to the concert at 1 o'clock, but at 10 minutes to 12, officials began to let people inside and fans.
And police protection here. You might remember they were expecting unruly crowds, excessive noise, but what they got was respect from metalheads and very little noise whatsoever.
I didn't hear anything. I'm very disappointed.
You wanted to hear something?
Yes, I did. I really did, but I didn't.
We were right up to the fence and couldn't hear nothing at all, just annoying helicopters.
The kids that came by already, they were good. We had no problem.
I think if we have this every time we have a concert down here, we wouldn't have a problem.
And it took crowd about less than 1 hour to clear out of here. Very little trash in the neighborhood. What is left behind was probably from Monday Night Football. As you heard, the neighbors are very pleased. We're live in South Philadelphia. Paul Jackson, News 10.
All right, thanks, Paul. With thousands heading home from the concert and thousands
were on horseback. This horse was well prepared for the rock concert. And just when it seemed the officers would have to keep disappointed non-ticket holders at bay, savvy concert promoters handed out extra tickets.
We want to go through the gates! Whoa!
By the time the concert started, every fan got in to see their favorite band. I'm Lauren Wilson, Channel 6 Action News.
The concert lasted a little more than an hour, and when it was over, the crowd dispersed quickly. Another look from Chopper 6 as the Metallica fans left the lot and emptied out into Broad Street. Let's go back to the parking lot and Action News reporter Dan Cuellar. Dan, how did the departure work out today?
Jim, very smoothly. Metallica fans are long gone now. The only thing still remaining in the east side Corestates Center parking lot is the large concert stage, which is already being dismantled. Right now, Flyers fans are beginning to work their way in here, and apparently with no significant or unusual problems. For the most part, despite being hyped about the concert, the 30,000-plus fans left in an orderly fashion, many leaving early to get a head start on traffic.
I think the whole thing was blown out of proportion. If you ask me, I think last night was worse. You had a worse crowd last night than you did tonight.
You mean for the Eagles game?
For the Eagles game.
To be sure, as with any big event, there were a few minor problems. Over 100 people were ejected from the concert for various reasons, ranging from public drunkenness to crowd surfing.
Kind of like loaded over the crowd to get out.
Yeah.
And then when we got out, they just kicked us totally out of the concert.
There were also a few minor injuries, a number of them from moshing. But overall, the fans seemed to enjoy themselves, from the young, just lovely, to the old.
I think it's been great, really. I think it's great for the kids. It's clean and it's everybody having a lot of fun.
Dombrowski and others who live nearby noticed there seemed to be more noise in the neighborhood coming from news helicopters than from the concert itself. The 300-plus police officers stationed at the event and in the perimeter kept things in check, while L&I inspectors confiscated a number of items from unlicensed vendors. Councilman James Kenny, who had been against the concert, seemed pleased with the way things went.
Very happy with the police presence and the plan that the city put into effect. We were out into the neighborhoods and the Veterans Stadium neighbors and to over to Packer Park. Things are very quiet and nice. Neighbors are very happy with the way things are going.
And the official crowd estimate from the Corestates Center is 40,000 fans. Even so, there was plenty of room left over in the east side parking lot for many more fans. Despite concerns from neighbors and some city officials, and perhaps because of all the planning, there were no significant problems. I'm Dan Cuellar, live on the Action Cam at the Corestates Center.
Thank you, Dan. As we have said, it was the neighborhood that wanted the courts to get rid of this concert. Residents were concerned about the noise, and all those fans, 3 city council persons and a state senator, did their best, but the court said no. The show will go on. Action News was staked out in the residential areas around the Corestates complex today, especially here in the 3100 block of Juniper. We asked a homeowner if she expected to be blown away by all the noise.
Yes, I did. I thought that's why I came out. I thought I would hear it. And I didn't hear anything, so I said, well, it's nothing. It ain't bothering us here.
Hundreds of police officers were sent into the neighborhoods and around the concert. Officials said the police contingent for the concert was twice the size of the detail for last night's Eagles game, and considering the incidents at the Eagles game, perhaps the city should have reversed the police deployment. Well, so much to the relief of everyone concerned. The Metallica concert has come and gone with no serious problems to fans or the neighborhoods. It was a throng of fans that converged on the parking lot between the Corestates Center and 11th Street. And this is a picture now live from Chopper 6. Almost everyone has gone. Now city workers are cleaning up, dismantling the stage, and preparing the parking lot and the surrounding environs for the Flyers
program with Gary Papa, Dave Roberts, and Jim Gardner.
Tuesday is a collective sigh of relief all over South Philadelphia. The heavy metal band Metallica came, they played, and they went home. Playing in front of a crowd of about 40,000 people, the free concert in the parking lot of the Corestates Center went off without a hitch, despite the fears of neighbors who tried and failed to stop the concert in court. Police were out in force, and even their horses came prepared for the high decibel scene. Concert organizers opened the gates just before noon, an hour earlier than planned, and there was some initial pushing to get the best spots, but the crowd was generally well behaved, with only a handful of arrests and some minor injuries reported among the body surfers in the crowd. Some female members of the audience found their own personal ways to express their appreciation to the band, which played 11 songs in just over an hour and a half. Concerned neighbors barely knew there was a concert going on.
Absolutely nothing. I'm shocked, you know. I really expected the house to rattle and hear a lot of noise. I haven't heard a thing.
And so after all was said and done, the concert came and went with no serious problems, and work is still going on to clean up the concert site. Let's go live to Action News reporter Dan Cuellar. Dan?
Well, Jim, if there was a concert here this afternoon, you can barely tell. In fact, workers are about to shut off the lights. They're almost done. For me personally, things always seem to go down a lot quicker than they go up, and such is the case with the giant Metallica stage, which is all but gone here tonight. Workers began dismantling the stage almost immediately after the concert came to an end about 4:30 this afternoon. In fact, the Metallica limos hadn't even pulled out of the parking lot when the stage began to come down. Only minutes after the Metallica concert came to an end, the Teamsters Union went to work dismantling the stage and clearing the east parking lot. An effort that transformed a lot that had been filled with a sea of music fans during the late afternoon into a lot filled with Flyers fans, cars, and trucks by nightfall.
It's going a lot smoother than we expected. Everything's coming down real quick.
The city streets department was also at work cleaning up after the concert.
This is about equal to most events we have. Most events we have is real messy like this.
Football games and the like. And there was no question Metallica fans were grateful to the band for the free concert event. There also seemed no question on the thoughts of neighborhood leaders who had worried about potential problems.
It was a very beautiful, quiet, normal day in our neighborhood. We have plenty of police force to keep everything in perspective. And the fans, the concert went around well.
While also crediting the efforts of the Philadelphia police, Mayor Ed Rendell also believes the band and its fans got a bit of a bad rap.
I think what happened is people get scared of the unknown, number one. Number two, when you get a heavy metal group and you know, people who look a little strange, although there's some controversy about whether Metallica actually looks a little strange.
So what was the big fuss? That seems to be the question a lot of people are asking tonight. As a matter of fact, a lot of people seem to feel that there were a lot more problems last night with the Eagles game than with the Metallica concert here this afternoon. I'm Dan Cuellar, live on the Action Cam at the Corestates Center.
Thank you, Dan. South Philly, and it was fairly quiet today, despite the fact that Metallica, crowned the loudest rock band on earth, played outside for thousands of people. Chopper 10's gyro cam over the Corestates Center parking lot tonight, where 40,000 headbangers were replaced by Flyers fans and their cars for a home game. Let's go live to the ground now. News 10's Sarah Schulte is live with the story of the South Philly cleanup. Sarah.
Well, Larry, you were out there today, and I'm sure after your experience, now you probably consider yourself a true metalhead, so you'll be disappointed to know that the stage has finally come down. But it's taken a whole lot longer to get rid of the stage than it did to get rid of the Metallica crowd. 40,000 screaming fans, so how do you get them all out of here?
Cops on horses, cops on bikes.
They beat me.
There's so many cops.
So many cops, a little police saturation. That's exactly how you move out a crowd to make way for another huge crowd. Police had a 2-hour window before the Flyers game began to swiftly direct Metallica fans to the exits. It took $80,000 worth of security to make sure that everything went smoothly, and the mayor says it was money well spent.
The level of police protection that we had was such that I don't think the integrity of any of the surrounding neighborhoods was violated or compromised in any way.
Quite a few bucks were also spent on cleaning up this whole place before the Flyers game. Cleanup crews had a short window to make the parking lot spotless.
Compare this mess to Eagles games, Flyers games, all that stuff.
Oh, this ain't nothing.
Really?
Yes. Yesterday was a mess.
Of course, yesterday was the Eagles game. By the way, Metallica did pay for $80,000 worth of that security, and they also helped pay for some of the cleanup. Live in South Philadelphia, I'm Sarah Schulte, News 10.
All right, thanks, Sarah. Metalhead I'm not, but after being there, my head feels like metal. The cleanup officially ends a week-long controversy leading up to the free Metallica concert. There was an ominous warning of crime, traffic problems, unruly crowds, and splitting noise spilling into the neighborhoods, causing mayhem. Well, none of that happened.
They are the true metalheads, waiting all night to get as close as possible to the loudest rock band in the world. The race to be the first with permanent hearing damage started when the gates opened at noon. At 3, Metallica provided the decibels. The Corestates official crowd estimate 40,000, all a little rowdy, but not unruly. How was the concert?
Oh, it was great, man. It was the best. Couldn't have asked much more.
Did you take off from school to get here?
Of course.
A few people got hurt in a heavy metal ritual called crowd surfing. Minor injuries and few arrests. They may have been the most polite headbangers around. And the noise, it turns out, didn't travel all that far.
We were right up to the fence and couldn't hear nothing at all, just annoying helicopters.
So the fear that fueled the controversy, it seems, was unfounded. And all that free publicity doesn't hurt either, right, Metallica?
Well, the press is more just the icing on the cake, you know? We just really wanted to go out and play a free show.
A free concert that gave Metallica and Philadelphia a chance to take a bow on the world stage.
And we should take a bow. This was a concert Metallica tried to hold in New York or Chicago, but officials there said they couldn't handle it. Philadelphia appeared to handle it just fine.
Philadelphia Flyers.
Oh, the Flyers.
Hey, can I get you right here on the top 500?
Attention span.
306.